watching a Q&A video where I answer all your aviation related questions that you guys left for me in the comments below or on my Instagram or in that post that I put up. Is doing bachelor's and master's in science good for a backup plan as I'm an Indian student? But how to pay for pilot training? After commercial, do we have to do type rating straight away or what should we do? Next question is, which is the best cadet pilot program in India? Jet Airways had amazing cadet pilot programs, so did Indigo. And now so does SpiceJet, and so many other airlines have cadet pilot programs. But here's the deal with those, right? They do give you a guarantee that you get a job, but they are very, very expensive. So I'll tell you a little story. When I was going to get my DGCA medical done, I met with a doctor who was doing my medical. And he told me that he knows of pilots that have been jobless for over 8 years and they're just at home doing nothing. So he told me, you're only a kid, are you sure you want to do this? The point is, getting a job after you finish your commercial is very, very hard. And these programs guarantee a job before you get started. So overall, about cadet pilot programs, the good thing is they give you a job guarantee even before you get started with your training. But it is extremely expensive, and if things like Jet Airways happens, like they shut down, then you don't really have a job at the end of the day and you overpaid for nothing. So if you can afford to pay for a cadet pilot program, go ahead and do it. It might be for the best. And as for the best ones, Indigo was really good and so was Jet Airways. And SpiceJet also has a good cadet pilot program, so definitely look into it. Next question. A bunch of you guys have asked me to recommend a flight school for you. Let me tell you a little story. So when I was training and I was building ours for my commercial, my flight school asked me to run an errand for them. They told me to go on a cross country to Scottsdale, which is a little far away, and it is in Arizona right under Phoenix. That's where they wanted me to go. So they planned this cross country for me. My flight school wanted one of their radios fixed, and there was a shop in Scottsdale where they wanted me to take this radio to, get it fixed and bring it back. It gets better. They did not want me to fly at night. All this was happening in December, meaning the time when the days were the shortest. Let's see how long the days were in December around this time in Arizona, shall we? This is the amount of daylight time that I had. And it took me 4.2 hours to get there. This is how much time I've logged in my logbook, meaning this is my flight time to get there. Without counting any breaks, without counting any time that I've used for fueling, no eating, no drinking, no restroom breaks, no stretching, nothing, okay? Just the flight time is 4.2 hours. Staying in a no headwind condition while I'm coming back, even though when I came back, it took me 5 hours. So there was a little bit of headwind, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt and let's say there was no issue, so it took me the same amount of time. So even if it took me the same amount of time, quick math here, it'll be 8.4 hours to go there and come back without fueling, eating, drinking, using the restrooms, nothing, okay? Which is a little absurd and weird expectations, but still, this is the time it takes. And also one more thing I want you to remember. From California to Arizona, anytime you go from California to Arizona, you will lose 1 hour. So anytime you cross the border from California, if it is 1 p.m. in California and you go into Arizona, it'll be 2 p.m. as soon as you cross the border. So this daylight time that I have needs to be subtracted by 1 because I lose an hour, and this is the time I have left. Expecting me to do an 8.4 hour flight in this much time is not practical. And even if I left at sunrise, I wouldn't have made this flight to and back. That's okay. Now, next, it gets way worse. So while I was heading there, on my way, this is what my fuel indicator looked like. I'll insert a video right here. For those of you all telling Cessna's fuel indicators never work, they're unreliable, they are required. 91205, minimum equipment, inoperative equipment, they are required. You can check your KOEL, you can check your TCDS if you want. They are required. And the only thing they're required to do, when the fuel is empty, it should indicate empty. That's all it's supposed to do. And that is exactly what it was showing me. So me being a sane person, landed the plane and checked. Just in case. There could have been a lot of issues. Maybe the fuel indicator was enough, okay? That's alright. Or the worst things were if I'd left the fuel cap open by mistake, or if there was somehow it was leaking, I had to stop and check. I fueled there and I took off. So this was in California where I flew. And next I went into Arizona. I landed to fuel because I needed fuel. It was a Cessna 150 and it cannot go so far without fueling, so I needed to do it. And once I got there, it was a deserted airport, okay? There was a coyote on the runway while I was landing. It tells you how deserted it was. There were no people, there's nobody. And I pull into the fuel pump, there's still nobody. I go try to use my card. Does not work because my card company thinks that somebody just used a card in California and then they're using the same card in Arizona within a few hours. Maybe something's wrong, so we'll just block this card. And I'm trying to call the card company and they're super busy and nobody's answering. I'm on hold. Okay, now I call my instructor, who further tells me to call the director of the school. And that is who I called, to tell him that my card isn't working and I'm waiting to hear back from the company and I'm just on hold. And this is what he tells me. This is exactly what he told me.
You have to get my radio there in time before they close. I don't want you flying my aircraft at night. I don't care what you'll do.
And then he hung up the call. Okay? So, he was being an absolute jerk. My fuel card isn't working. I'm in a deserted airport with nobody to ask for help. I have nowhere to go and I cannot fly somewhere else because I need to get fuel to get somewhere. And I'm in tears in my aircraft, just not knowing what to do. And this random man shows up with his aircraft trying to fuel. And I hear him, I just clean up everything, I get out of his way and let him fuel. And once he's done, he inquires if everything's okay with me, and then I told him that my card isn't working because they think something's wrong and they've blocked it for a while and I'm waiting to get a hold of them. And he offers me his card to pay for my fuel. He said he can loan me money so I can give it back to him. And just remember, this is a strange man who has never seen me and he will never ever see me again in his life. But he's offering me a lot of money so I can get out of this deserted situation. So if a strange man can do so much for somebody, my director of the school was an absolute jerk and hung up on me, and all he cared was his radio being delivered in time. So moral of the story here is, I cannot help you pick the best school because there are jerks everywhere and I picked the wrong school. I got into situations that weren't what I expected. Things may not be exactly as they seem, so I would highly suggest do your research and pick the school that you need to go and make sure their aircrafts are good, their whole entire fleet, make sure it's all good and they have aircraft that are accepted by DGCA. And also make sure the instructors and the management is also good. These are very important things. And as international students, you will need the school to give you I-20s and visa here in the United States. So make sure that your school can do this because not all schools can do it. And if your school can do it, you can apply for it and get it. The next question is from Shivu. Which is your favorite plane that you will want to fly one day? The plane that I want to fly one day is the Airbus 380. It is such a huge plane and it is the world's biggest passenger plane ever made. I'm a small person and having the ability to carry 850 passengers in a plane and fly in the sky just seems so surreal to me, and I would love to do that one day. Even though this airplane is slowly being faded away because there is no need for such a big airplane and there are not as many airport runways that can accommodate this plane. So it is slowly being faded away and its production has stopped too. So I hope I can try this and I hope I can fly it one day. And that is all the time we have for a Q&A. If you want a part 2, let me know and I will ask for all your questions on Instagram. So follow me on Instagram as well. And I will have a few of my videos linked everywhere, in the iCard, in the description and in the end cards. Make sure to check it out and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell and the thumbs up button. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got some of the answers you needed, and if you need more, let me know and I'll do it. That being said, I'll see you in my next video. Until then, signing off, Lightning Girl. Bye!